Good morning. Today our topic is diagnosis and management of rupture of uterus. In this topic, uh, we had already previously seen the causes of the rupture of uterus and the pathology. Now we will see this treatment, diagnosis and treatment part. Prognosis point of view, if at all not treated properly, then it is the major cause of death. The hemorrhage is major cause of death. Shock and sepsis. This may lead to the maternal death. So many deaths may occur if at all are not treated. And if at all treated, then late sequelae may be intestinal obstruction and rupture of the scar in subsequent pregnancies might occur. During pregnancy, now we will see the diagnostic point. During pregnancy, basically scar rupture, spontaneous and iatrogenic that we had seen. So scar rupture, whenever the classical cesarean or hysterectomy has been done, patient will complain of abdominal pain, dull abdominal pain over the scar area with slight vaginal bleeding might be there. Again, the tenderness on the palpation will be there. Fetal heart sound may be irregular or may be absent, and there may be this is generally if at all slow rupture is there, then the silent phase will be there, and again in later stage, whenever the rupture is complete, then the gross complication will occur and the patient will collapse. Again, the diagnosis is self-evident whenever the patient will complain of local pain with vaginal bleeding clinically. And we have to look for this if at all patient with previous cesarean section complaining of pain in the previous scar and is having vaginal bleeding, then make suspicion of this scar rupture during pregnancy. Again, the spontaneous rupture of uninjured uterus. This is also comparatively rare, but we can see the onset is generally insidious during pregnancy and in acute type, severe acute abdominal pain with fainting attack, and the patient will suddenly collapse. But sudden is generally we can. This is very rare. Sudden rupture of the uninjured uterus is not that much common. So diagnosis is by presence of features of shock will be there, tenderness on abdomen will be there, and abdominal examination we can feel the fetal parts will be superficially we can feel, and the fetal heart rate will be absent as the fetal life is at jeopardy. Uterus has been ruptured and fetal life is has been jeopardized or fetus might be dead inside. So this fetal heart rate we cannot notice. Whenever the onset is slow, then it may be confused. A differential diagnosis of this is concealed this abruptio placentae, and again rectal sheath hematoma might be there. This is the differential diagnosis for the spontaneous rupture of uninjured uterus. Again, rupture following a blow or external version or use of oxytocin. There will be history of fall or trauma to the abdomen. We will notice there will be vaginal bleeding, the pulse rate will be rapid, and again the uterine area will be tender. And so this will you have to suspect the rupture of the uterus. This again this is the iatrogenic, means ruptured by fall, blow, external version by use of oxytocin, all this. The next one is during labor. During labor, scar rupture again spontaneous obstructive, spontaneous non-obstructive, and iatrogenic. In scar rupture during labor, classical cesarean scar is there, so it will be same as the features we had studied before. If at all lower segment scar rupture is there, then the onset is generally insidious, and there will not be generally the features of this rupture will not be very easily found, and it might be we will find it on a laparotomy. So whenever the partial scar rupture is there, so it is also called as silent rupture. This lower segment scar rupture is also called as silent rupture during labor. We are seeing this spontaneous obstructive rupture. In this spontaneous rupture occurs whenever the premonitory phase prior to the rupture, there are so many changes we can notice. In In this patient is usually multiparous, and there will be features of obstructed labor. We can notice on examination, patient will be dehydrated, exhausted, temperature will be rise in the body temperature, pulse rate will be more. On abdomen examination, it will reveal the distended lower segment of the uterus, bandal ring. We can notice because of the obstructed labor. Fetal distress will be there, and on vaginal examination, the presenting part is seen to be jammed inside the pelvis, and the vagina becomes dry edematous. Again, whenever the spontaneous non-obstructive rupture is there, then it is comparatively rare, and it is generally multiparous females are affected by this non-obstructive spontaneous rupture. Multiple time pregnancy will be there, and they will it will cause basically what it will cause, the tissues will be softened, and that will cause the rupture. So patient will be in shock, and internal hemorrhage will be there, tenderness in the lower abdomen we can notice, and again vaginal bleeding will be there. Again, rupture following instrumental delivery, the general condition of the patient will be deteriorating. We can notice, and with vaginal bleeding. After the manipulation, we can notice, or where the instrument is applied, we can notice this. Again, management purpose, iatrogenic, this is iatrogenic. Management purpose, prophylaxis is important. So, at-risk mothers likely to rupture hospital should be admitted to the hospital. High risk mothers, contracted pelvis, patient with contracted pelvis, previous history of cesarean section, hysterectomy, mammectomy, uncorrected transverse lag, grand multipara, a known case of hydrocephalus. Such cases are admitted to the hospital, and likely the rupture of the uterus has to be evaluated. We have to do the prophylaxis in such cases. General anesthesia should not be used to give undue force in the external version. Again, undue delay in the progress of labor in multipara with the previous uneventful delivery should be viewed with concern. Judicious selection of cases with the previous history of cesarean section for the vaginal delivery, and judicious selection of the cases and careful watch are mandatory during the oxytocin infusion for the augmentation of labor or induction of labor, because oxytocin will cause undue excitation of the uterine muscles, and that may lead to the rupture of the uterus. Again, internal podalic version is contraindicated, and whenever it should not be done in obstructed labor. And again, alternative operation is destructive operation or cesarean delivery. Cesarean delivery is the alternative measure where the life of the mother and the fetus can be saved. Attempted forceps delivery or breech extraction, whenever the os is incompletely dilated, should not be done. Destructive vaginal operation should be performed by the trained obstetrician, and exploration of the uterus is done as the routine following delivery if at all the bleeding is not in control. Manual removal of the adherent placenta should be done by trained obstetrician, and treatment part, resuscitation is very important. Patients' life is at stake, so resuscitation has to be done. Antibiotic therapy is given. Patients' BP, electrolyte is maintained. Electrolyte dehydration is covered. Electrolyte balance is maintained. Reverse lactate is given. If at all bleeding is much more, then the blood transfusion is given. And plasma is also given. Laparotomy is done, and if at all hysterectomy or the repair of the wound is done depending on the condition of the patient. So this is all about the diagnosis and management of rupture of the uterus. If at all you are having any queries, please mention in the comment box. I'll try to solve it. Thank you very much.